Hey, welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast with me, Iona Meade, at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. So hopefully you're doing really, really amazing. Today is Sunday. It is what I call Financial Freedom Sunday. And the theme and the topic for today, as always, every single Sunday when I come live, is about financial freedom and soul clients. And actually thinking as a light worker, as a spiritual entrepreneur, as that light work and lifestyle balance, are really doing all the things that we want to do in the world and actually receiving and allowing that financial freedom. So before I dive into this episode, what I want to do is say that we're going to journal together. We're going to high vibe together. Hopefully you'll leave this episode with your vibration raised and intention set and visualizing and playing the soul income game, Bank 50K in 50 days challenge on Sunday. I'm going to talk about what I visualized, what I was using my vibrational money voucher on today. What else? Express gratitude. And then I'm going to invite you to come to our monthly networking call to connect, co-create and collaborate on the first Monday of the month. Oh, and vision board as well. I've got a vision board challenge that happens on the second week in December annually, Monday to Friday, where we talk about all of the Seven Freedoms frequency. And I'm just grabbing my cards, my keepers of the light. And then I'm going to pull a card for you. All right. So we're going to have kind of just the whole vibe, hopefully high vibing. Hopefully you've had a great day. So what I want to do is read a quote and try not to knock my iPhone off with my I've got messages coming through. So and the book that I read for today, which I read a book every single day. I'm an author. I love books. And so the book that I read for today or listened to today was The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, right? You know that, right? Brenda, Rhonda Byrne, the Secret movie, read The Science of Getting Rich, and she did all the whole law of attraction, all things, and it hit you, it hit me, it hit all around the world for years and years and years, right? And when I was listening to this, and I remember first hearing this, and I did what it said. I impressed that on my mind. Excuse me. Excuse me. And I just want to give you a reminder. And if you've never heard this, welcome to Financial Freedom Sunday. And talking about soul clients and financial freedom as light workers. And again, the book, let me know where you're watching from in the world. The book that I listened to today was the Science of Getting Rich. And here's a quote. It's on my Mac, so I'm going to look that way, by Wallace D. Wattles. He says, let me know if you know this and if you practice it. So he says, there's a thinking staff from which all things are made, and in which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought, right? Man can form things, or woman can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. Hang on. He must form a clear mental picture of the thing he wants and hold this picture in his thoughts with the fixed purpose to get what he wants, and with unwavering faith that he does get what he wants, closing his mind excuse me, against all that may tend to shake his purpose, dim his vision, or quench his faith. And in addition to all this, we shall now see that he must live and act in a certain way. Have you heard that before? I didn't read it that great. I've got a learning dyslexia and I haven't got my glasses on. But I listened to this, and in this chapter, I don't even know what chapter it was that I was listening to because it's on my iPhone. He said it so many times, like 4 times in this chapter. And I'm like, I remember first hearing that our thinking stuff, right? When we think it is permeating into the universe, it's causing that thing that you think about to be created. And in all of that, creating that image and holding that wavering faith and then acting in a certain way. So I'm like, oh my gosh, the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is about that. It's about that visualization. Like, I don't know, why do you do the visualize? Holding that clear mental image in your mind. It says we're thinking about it. So intentional living and the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is about intentional living an intentional life, including all of the 7 areas that I talk about. And if you are new to me, contribution, the purpose, right? Our health, our emotions, our environment, our relationships, our spirituality, and our financial freedom. I love it. And I'm like, oh my God, it was years ago. When was it? When did you first come across The Secret? And if you've heard of Wallace D. Wattles or The Science of Getting Rich, how long ago was that? It says close all doors until you've actually believed it and you're actually thinking and acting in a certain way. Are you? From when you've heard about it, you know, people go, oh, law of attraction doesn't work. Underneath the law of attraction is the law of vibration. We know that. But it's like, oh, thinking and acting and living. He said, now we shall see. We must live and act in a certain way. Not like doubt, not like fear, not like all the things, not like this shit doesn't work. Like, it's so incredible. I love it. I'm like, oh, wow. So with financial freedom and having our purpose and our calling in life and wanting to reach our soul clients, like, it might feel a bit like, oh, and it's not fake it to make it, not that. And I used to say that because that's what I heard, but it's being in alignment with the vibration. Living and acting in a certain way is not living and acting in the certain with doubt. It's placing your thoughts on formless substance. I love it. It fills the interspaces of the universe. And what's imaged by your thoughts, whatever you have on your mind, like daily, like, listen, what you want to experience. I love it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just come so full circle, like so full circle. And I was reading this book as well in the bath, Make It Happen, Manifest the Life of Your Dreams by Jordana Levin. And I'm like, yeah, this is, if you haven't read this book, read it. Yeah, read it. I love it. Absolutely love it. So clients, financial freedom is like, okay, well, if you don't have the financial freedom that you want to, we're banking 50K in 50 days and doing the soul income game so that we're impressing our thoughts on formless substance, right? And thinking and acting in a certain way. I love it. So, Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, I usually talk about things that are going on for me. I want to share my vibe today. Want to ask you how you are feeling today. So what you're vibing at, you know, like if you were around you today, how would you like come up? Like, you know how we want to make a difference in the world, right? And welcome. We want to make a difference in the world, and we do that with our vibe, our feelings, right? And so if you're vibing low and you're vibing high, whichever one, like, how are you feeling today? What impact are you making on the world today? It's Sunday, so you're probably not working with your soul clients, but if you've got passive and leverage income streams, you might have been working with your clients and not even know it. They might be watching your, set aside the weekend to watch your teaching online. On Thursdays, I talk about traveling while you teach and using your online teaching and videos, and people watch videos all the time, right? So if you have a YouTube channel, if you have a podcast, you might have been making an impact to your soul clients. I may have been doing that myself. I don't know. But the way that this works is to create ideas and live and act in a certain way so that your work can work for you. And I actually did have somebody sign up for the masterclass, so thank you. And I've had more subscribers on the YouTube channel, so thank you, at Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona. Really appreciate that. I had somebody sign up to my masterclass and I pushed back the December one to January because I've got the book launch, the paperback book launch. And I'm like, yeah, let me just hold it down, not try and get crazy. And somebody had registered for that one. And I'm like, oh, that's a couple of people actually have registered for that one. So I'm like, oh, that feels really good. And I'm glad that I pushed it back, because otherwise it would be, when would it be? The 18th of December. And it just didn't feel right. Because I don't celebrate the holidays, but I know other people do. One of the things that I want to talk about with, before we rate our vibration, no, actually, let's rate our vibrational frequency between a 1 and an 11. 1 is nah, 11 is source, guidance, yeah, universe, woo, universe, we're on it, we're in flow. Let me know. Mine is an 11 today. Yes. With soul clients and soul family, like just feeling expansive, actually, feeling really good. I talk about your vision board as the next segment of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. And I'm going to pull this into the point that I was going to make and run this theme right the way through this podcast. And I'm going to talk about it. So there's a program which I haven't talked about for a while called Rich House, Poor House. There's also in the UK, there's also one in about rich holiday, poor holiday, right? And basically, the program talks about the wealth divide. And we know that there's a wealth divide, right? And a financial freedom divide. Excuse me. And we know also that there's a poverty consciousness and a prosperity consciousness. My goal is to raise the bottom, as many people in the bottom 10% to the top 10% rise and reside at that frequency, including myself, right? Me first, walk my talk and bridge that gap. So that was like something that I really, really wanted to do. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I do that? This is it, right? So this program is, they talk about the rich house and the poor house, their words, right? Prosperous house, poverty house, whatever that sounds worse. Anyway, poverty consciousness, prosperity consciousness, because that's the result, right? When we talk about the Wallace D. Wattles quote of your thoughts permeating the universe, and that thing, whatever we're thinking, is produced in formless substance. So therefore, if it's a rich house or a poor house, a poverty house or a prosperous house, it's our thoughts that are creating that, right? Like, we take responsibility. I know that there's systems and I know that blah, 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 blah. All right, let's not get political, but welcome. So the program is the rich house and the poor house. And the idea is for the cameras, the crew, to go in and help each family experience, swap the different lives. So therefore, it means that people who've worked hard to get to wherever they are, and they've got a disposable income of over, I think it's over 1,500 or something like that a week, up to about 3,000, I think I've seen them spend. So that's their pool for the week. Like, all expenses are done. Most of the expenses are done, but that's like the weekly budget, basically. Welcome. And for the poor house, I've seen them have as little as, say, £50 for the week. So the idea is to swap families, and usually there's kids involved, children involved. And the rich house, the intention often is for their children to be humble, and their children to know the value of money and not to get lost and caught up in it, and vice versa, and see how the other half live. Usually the rich house have already known the poor, being in a poor house themselves. So they have that experience of swapping houses. So the next thing is the vision. Like, I talk about your vision board. Like, what do you visualize your lifestyle? Like, what does that look like and feel like for you in every single area of your life? Now, if you imagine living in the poor house versus living in the rich house, your lifestyle is going to be different. Like, every single area, how you contribute in the world, your health, your emotions, your environment, your relationships, your spirituality, your spiritual freedom, your connection, and your finances. And so this is a beautiful way to, and if you haven't seen it, YouTube it, Google it, or what have you. It's just a really great example of what, again, a rich house and a poor house is. So the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge that I talk about is about you experiencing the version of you that would have financial freedom. Usually these houses are not that far apart in terms of geographical location. So you imagine like somebody that's like, I don't know, 2-3 miles down the road from you, somebody sometimes even over the road from you, having a completely different experience in life, a completely different human experience, because they're thinking and feeling different things, and they've made different choices, and they're contributing in the world in a different way. Usually in every single house, in the rich house, they're self-employed. They are working from themselves, so they don't have a ceiling on their income. Oftentimes and again, the next stage of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast is, how do you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day? They're going to launch their day in a very different way. Their lifestyles are very different. Their health is very different. Their emotions are very different. They're feeling differently. Oftentimes in the poor house, the poverty house, they are worried about money, worried about bills. They've got finances, like debts. They've got drawers, of unopened letters. They've wanted something that the family have really needed, or the car's broken down, or the kids have gone without, or the blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, wow, like all of that to say that financial freedom, what it can do, because oftentimes as light workers and spiritual entrepreneurs, and this is why I focus on financial freedom every single Sunday, is because as light workers and spiritual entrepreneurs, usually we're repelling the money, going, yeah, we don't need it. But when you see the contrast of a rich house and a poor house, and even if you don't want a different house, the rich holiday and the poor holiday, what you can limits your choices, what you experience, where you experience. I remember watching a Rich House Poor House episode, and the children didn't have passports, and they got the budget of the poor house got the rich house's budget, and they bought their children things like passports or shoes or clothes or a toy or a riding lesson or a hobby or something that they couldn't actually afford to do. And I'm like, wow, we've got to get in alignment with the money is not just the money. The money is energy, and it's an energy exchange for experiences. It's a real game changer. It's a real eye-opener. And now I say it, I'm going to watch an episode tonight. I think and then I said to my daughter, me, you've got to watch this. And she's like, Mom, I've been watching that for years. I was like, oh, okay. I've watched it for a few years, and I haven't watched it lately, but it just really helped me with my mission and my vision of, I've been there at that poor house, and I want to be at that rich house in my barn. But what do I need to do in order to bridge that gap, that vibrational gap? Like, who do I need to become? How is it that I'm going to be contributing to the world? Does that make sense? So when you think of soul clients and financial freedom as a light worker, as a spiritual entrepreneur, you're not going to be working for somebody else and have financial freedom. Very unlikely. It'll take you a long time. But when you work for yourself, you can then choose how much it is that you're going to earn. However, oftentimes worthiness comes up, different things come up, and we repel the money. So that's why we play the bank 50K in 50 days. And that's why we do the visualization. And again, I've got the vision board challenge, which happens on the second week in December, Monday to Sunday. And so we'll focus on your contribution. We'll focus on your health. We'll focus on your emotions, your environment, your relationships, and your finances, because we want to break generational cycles, and we want to leave that financial freedom for our next. I'm a grandmother. My granddaughter's 10. I'm on it. It's like, I might not have been able to do all the things that I've wanted to do for my children, but I want to definitely do that for my daughter as well. And my daughter's children, and for my son passed 8 years ago. So like, there's kind of like a step up moment for me as a grandmother, to make sure that my granddaughter she'll be financially sound anyway, but just to contribute to that. So when I do my light work in the world, I'm not just thinking, oh, my house, the rich house, poor house. I'm thinking of the generations. And one of the things that I did today, I went on a walk in the local area where I grew up. And although I'd played in this park when I was a little girl, you just play in a park. It's a park. And I thought, I'll go and walk in the park today. The park was actually a mansion. And I looked at the history of the mansion and the families that had lived in it. It was a house. And the park that we played in was their grounds. It was their garden. And I looked at this, like the old house in the pit, because it's not the same as what it was all those years ago. And it was just like, this was your garden? Absolutely huge, like huge. And I'm like, wow, rich house. That's what reminded me to look, oh, that was a rich house. And then as I'm coming out of there and I'm walking up the road, and I'm thinking, what did they do to have that house? And now the houses compared to that, like, are boxed in the UK. They're very compact. I'm like, wow, we live a very, very, very different life. Rich house, poor house, literally side by side, rich house, poor house. It's really incredible to make that association today. And hopefully that's given you a little bit of an insight. And again, look it up, rich house, poor house. It's not nice names, but like, that's technically like the rich and the poor, And to be fair, what the amount of money it takes to be financially free and to be in the top 10% is not that much. It's not actually that much at all. It really isn't. I can't remember how much it is, but it's not that much. Anyway, all right, let's dive in. So how you launch your day, lead your day, and leave your day. How are you doing that now? Living in a certain way, and how are you bridging that gap? And how are you making space for your soul clients? Are you having conversations? Are you making offers? Do you have an enrollment spot? My enrollment spot is the masterclass. I will be getting on one-on-one calls for a period of time as the book launch goes, and to enroll co-authors as well. But that enrollment spot is my gap and my bridge to financial freedom, making that offer in my business. And it's training. It's 4 hours of free training that you can get on the Soul Legacy TV. It's my channel trailer. Once you're subscribed, you don't actually get it. But if you're not subscribed, you can watch it. But once you're subscribed, you get the 5-day challenge thing. So I don't know whether to change that or not, but you can show up live. If you click on any of the links around here, or look at the soullegacyacademy.com/courses/masterclass, you'll get on the masterclass. It happens on the last Monday of the month at 9 p.m. UK time. I pushed it out to January because there's no excuses then. I don't believe in working harder. I believe in working smarter. And I'm just like, I'm not about to drag people kicking and screaming. And I think by the end of January, you guys will be like, yeah, I'm ready for some change. I'm ready for something. Roll on 2024. But like when we're in it, it's like, okay, I've got to do something different to get a different result. And oftentimes we'll start with something that we shouldn't even be doing. So it's like, yes, it's time. And I'm ready. Like I've got some stuff to wrap up before the end of the year, but I'm going to be hitting the ground running. We need to start planning now and visualizing now. So the vision board challenge is going to help you do that, to get really clear, to start to impress your thoughts on formless substance and have that clear mental image in your mind, and then act in a certain way, as Wallace C. Wattles says. I didn't say it. Wallace C. Wattles said it. So the next segment, welcome. The next segment of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, YouTube podcast, is with that said, for the financial freedom, and with that said, for soul clients and working with soul clients, what 1 to 3 actions can you take in order to bridge that gap for yourself? Like, what do you need to do? What do you need to work on? In fact, what do you need to let go of? What do you need to stop doing that's busy work and actually focus only on the income generating tasks? Again, amen. Yes. All right. Write them down, journal them. So this is my video journal. Right. Okay. And I pull the card for today. Just going with the flow. The card for today is from the Keepers of the Light. If you can see that. I'm not very good at holding this stuff out. Hey, that's the angle. Hang on. And Keepers of the Light. And this is the card. Let's see. Lord Shiva, Transcendence. Rise up. Hey, there we go. Rise up, honor your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe. Dance. Yes. Dance with the universe. I'll hold this here and then I'll read it. All right. It says Shiva is one of India's trinity of male god figures. He is depicted wearing a cobra around his neck. Representing his capacity to tame fear or the ego, surrounded by stars. His concentration to the cosmos and holding the trident, acknowledging the 3 aspects. I don't think you can see that. Can you see it? Of the divine masculine power. And if you listen to this, I'm holding it up on the video on the YouTube channel. Masculine power in India, creator, preserver, and destroyer. He's known as the destroyer, in quotes, because of his warrior-like energy and the ability to destroy fear. He is a facet of the divine father energy and offers, I can't say that, paternal protection. I can't say that. Support and guidance. He is also acknowledged as the cosmic dancer because he helps coordinate the interaction between Earth and the cosmos. He has the capacity to help us move beyond the fear of failure and into clarity and connection. Ooh. Extended message. Lord Shiva is with you right now to awaken your sense of connection to life itself. Love that. You are moving through a deep transition and things will be clear from this point. You will know exactly what you need to do, where you need to be. This is the point that this is a powerful time as you will transcend the limitations that others have set for you. Can I get an amen? It is now time of innovation, ideas, and stargazing, soul traveling, and soul revealing. Shiva, the Lord of Dance, is here with his sacred sound of to lead the way. And if you heard me talk about Gabby Bernstein, she in reading The Universe Has the Back on Friday, she says so hum, I think is what she said in her meditation. Love that. That's amazing. All right. What else have we got to do? Oh, gratitude. I think this is going to be a short one. Gratitude. All right. So I have my gratitude stone. It's my I love heart that my daughter gave me. And I want to express gratitude the Seven Freedoms frequency way. Again, if you are not new to me, then you'll heard me do this. I do it out loud and I say, this is me, soul speaking into existence. This Seven Freedoms frequency podcast is my video journal that I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to share with my students. If you're a student in the Soul Legacy Academy and you are a boot camper or a masterminder, you have the Seven Freedoms frequency call-in gym where I can support you in your lifestyle as well as your light work. Because, like, why would we not? And then when we do the vision board challenge, this is a follow-on to hold you accountable and rise and reside. And again, have that thinking stuff to impress your thoughts upon formless substance consistently and live and act in a certain way every day. Like, we don't get days off. All right. So when we say gratitude, the Seven Freedoms frequency, where we bring in all of the seven freedoms, and I call this, excuse me, the intentional living codes. Cheers to financial freedom frequency. And that acronym, that's why I say the seven freedoms, because it's easier. The acronym for cheers is C, which stands for contribution freedom, our purpose. H is for health freedom. E is for emotional freedom. The second E is for environmental freedom. Then we have relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom. And every single day of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, every single day, we focus on one of those areas that we set intentions, we visualize, we set the intentions to actually move into action in alignment with our vision, and we express gratitude for things that have manifested in the past, the present, or the future. So it links, the contribution links to so each of the seven freedoms link to your vibration, because we journal on how we feel. What's our vibration? How in flow? Where's the guidance coming from? Is it blocked? And then we visualize, right? So it's linked to the vision, and then we link to the action, and then we link to visualizing how it looks and feels in our day, like actually trying it on, and not just visualizing it blanket, like, oh, this is the vision and it's somewhere out there, like pulling it into our day to day. Like, if that was to manifest, what does it look and feel like? And I tend to do this with relationships as well as with students as well. I've done that with students and I've tried all of that on, but it's with relationships more so. I try it on in the dating world and then take it off if it's not fitting. But it's really immersing yourself in that vision. And again, people say, engage all of the senses. So the seven freedoms, I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate it. And you want to feel those feelings and think of the things that you are grateful for, right? And so I soul speak it into existence. And that means I'm raising my vibration for all the seven freedoms. And you're raising your vibration for all the seven freedoms. And by us doing that, we're raising the vibration of the collective, one person at a time. That's me, and that's you, and that's the energy, right? In the formless substance, right? So for contribution freedom, I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate contribution. Let's see. My contribution to improving the mental health and well-being of our nation and our future generation. I'm really happy and grateful that I can play a part in that. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate for health freedom. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate. I talk about health, emotional health, mental health, social health, physical health, environmental health, spiritual health. And I'm going to go for spiritual health. I feel spiritually healthy, guided, and in flow. So I'm happy and grateful for that. I'm having grateful for that. Welcome. I'm saying gratitude on my gratitude stone every single day. That's what I do on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, as well as visualizing, setting intentions, all the things. So thank you for spending this time with me. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate environmental freedom. I'm grateful for the environment that I walked in today in nature. It was raining actually, and I don't usually go for a walk in the rain. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for a longer walk. And I walked, and the environment I was in, I used to play in as a little girl. And it reminds me of my dad. My dad's passed. And the friends that I used to have when I was a little girl, it just brought up a lot of memories. And I used to take my children there. More so my son, because we lived in this area. My son passed 8 years ago, so he was a little boy. So I was looking at this area, this park, and I'm just really clicking in with it. We used to go, what is it that called? Tagpoling, with a little net and stuff, and then put them all back. Like, I don't know. All the things, just so many memories. And then having the memories of my sister-in-law getting married to my youngest brother, and my daughter being a bridesmaid, and I'd completely forgotten about it. And I stood on these stairs in this park, which was a house originally, a big mansion, and that must have just been the steps that they would walk down into their garden. It was so luxurious because I'd seen it as a park, and for today I just saw it as that was their house. I looked at the history of it, and to know that they got married on their grave, it was just really weird. But I'm really happy and grateful for that environment. Happy and grateful and appreciate spiritually. The universe bringing me the people that are going to show me who I want to be. That is big. Those soul connections and those soul to soul conversations. I'm really happy and grateful for that, because I had one today and yesterday. And I'll talk about that on Relationship Freedom Friday. You have to wait now. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate financial freedom. What am I grateful for? Being able to pay for my daughter a year for her car insurance. I've been grateful for that. So when we play the soul income game, Bank 50K in 50 days, I use my journal. And if you're new to me, let me know where you're watching from. If you're new to me, I use my Soul Legacy Journal. I'm the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy. And it's called 365 Days of Your Spiritual Awakening Story. When I was going through my spiritual awakening, this is what I did, but behind closed doors for a few years. Right? I was visualizing in every single area of my life. I've had an awakening in all of those 7 areas. And I've had to build my life up from the ground up. When my son passed, emotionally, I didn't ever think that I would even be expressing gratitude. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot. When you go through a spiritual awakening, it's a lot. And I want to be here for all of you who have gone through one, who are going through one, want to come out the other side, all the things, because it matters. It matters to me. And so I've gone through spiritual awakenings in finances, and this is why I use this journal. So I call it a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. It's a blank notebook, this one, but I will have a co-author book series where my co-authors are sharing their story, their spiritual awakening story, to inspire others. So the journal is a magical journal, and this is Financial Freedom Sunday, right? Working with our soul clients. So what I want you to do is imagine this journal gives you £1,000, dollars, or euros, wherever you are in the world, every single day for 50 days. 50 days, 50K, what would that do to your financial freedom, right? Would it give you financial freedom? Would you need to do it for another 50 days to have financial freedom? What would financial freedom feel like to you and your family, in terms of, as I was talking earlier on the podcast, the rich house and the poor house, the rich holiday and the poor holiday? We're here for this lifetime. Yes, we might get other lifetimes, but we're here to experience this lifetime to the fullest and pass on those experiences to our future generation. As a grandmother, that is what I want to do. We know Our thoughts, our feelings create our reality. And so we know that what people have passed down to us might have been traumatic, and we want to break those generational cycles, right? So this is one of the things that the Soul Legacy Journal is that is going to help us vibrate at a different frequency. So we spend the vibrational money every single day. You don't want to spend it every day. You can carry it over to the next day, but you tithe 10%. That means you're setting forth energy to a worthy cause because you've been in service in your spiritual business as a spiritual entrepreneur and a light worker. You've been given your gifts to birth in the world, and you're going to take a chunk of that and you're going to give it and you're going to pass it on freely, right? Is that beautiful? Is that beautiful? That's legacy. All right. So a worthy cause that I give to is Compassionate Friends, because it's a charity for bereaved parents, because I am one. Like I say, my son passed, so I dedicate my work to my son. My soul work and my purpose has unfolded from so many different angles. I've brought all of that energy into one container so I can hit everything. Like, I want to tithe. I want to tithe to a charity. I want to, do you know what I mean? Like, and I tithe as well. I tithe with my students. I tithe and I say, here's my co-author book series. Here it's a bonus for my boot camp. If you are in the position where you're not financially like ready to invest, you can bring a body in, split the cost. One body won't get the co-author book as a bonus, but you can both go in and split. Like, that's financial freedom. That's freedom. It's just such a beautiful, like, I visioned this, like I say, for years and years and years. And I'm like, oh, what, I feel really blessed to be able to birth it in the world. So I had that vision of banking 50K in 50 days. In fact, 50K in a month, because I wanted to buy my barn conversion. And that's after being homeless, financially bankrupt, all the things. I know what not having money and living in the poorhouse, the homeless house, the halfway house looks like. And I had to pull myself out of that. And this is how I did it. So imagine you're spending it. What would you spend that vibrational money voucher on? And then when you really get the money, you'll know who you be when you have it. So there's no reason to like fear it. You know, like, oh, money. As spiritual entrepreneurs, like, oh, you know, as light workers, like money. So let me know where you're watching from, because I can see you watching. And don't hop off, because I've said, let me know where you're watching from. So spend the vibrational money voucher and then carry it over to the next day. But Sunday, you've got to spend it. So I usually say on a Sunday what I spent my vibrational money voucher on, and I spent it on my daughter's car insurance for the year, because her dad bought her a very expensive car and it needs that much car insurance because she's young, she's a new driver. So that was that, right? So come from the space that your bills are already paid, so you don't get to pay it on bills. You don't get to pay it on savings. Come from the space that your savings are all done, your taxes are all done, and you're at the energy of whatever is on your vision board, you can pay for those experiences. Does that sound amazing? Or is that, I think it's pretty amazing. Just gonna say, I made it up, inspired by lots of different things, inspired by Asking It Is Given, the prosperity game, and inspired by Frederick Lerman as well. He's got a game in his prosperity consciousness book. Just thinking what else I needed to do in with the journal. I think we've done our rating, we've done our setting intentions, we've done soul guided actions, we've done the vision board, we've done the soul income game, we've done gratitude. I'm looking to see what else. Just the monthly call, I think, to come. If you want to come to a monthly call to network with me, to speak with me, to collaborate with me, to co-create with fellow spiritual entrepreneurs who have a movement, and you have a YouTube channel, you want to start a YouTube channel, you have a podcast, you want to start it, and you want to be featured, you want to seek guests, and come to our monthly networking call. And I want to root for your success. I want us to root for each other's success, not pull us down, not compare. As Wallace D. Wattle says in the quote that I read earlier, we've got to move from that competitive mind to the creative mind. There's no comparison. There's no, well, you're doing that, you're going to steal my ideas. There's none of that. There's like, let me introduce you to my audience because I know that you're offering value. All right. We did the book. We did the card. I think that's it. So again, subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success, if you are not subscribed. Jump on the monthly call. All the links are in the cards, in the descriptions. You can grab them. I think that is it for Financial Freedom Sunday and working with our soul clients. Again, take your actions today. Share your gifts, shine your light, because you are born to serve. Here's to showing up, speaking out, and serving deep. Be blessed in your soul purpose. Thank you for joining me. Take care.